All right, on this segment of the Henny and Juice podcast, we're going to end it out with something really fun for you guys. We're both going to do our all-time starting fives. We got pretty creative with it, you could say. But yeah, who do you and then at point guard I have LeBron James. Most people are probably going to, I don't know, probably going to have some beef with that pick,
Yeah,
but
we got creative.
I think it's fair just because last season he was the starting point guard for most of the season. His entire career, he's basically been the starting point guard. Even when Kyrie was on the Cavs, LeBron was the point. I think it's fair in a fun segment like this. If we were like getting super serious about it, I feel like it'd be unfair to put Braun at the point guard. But I think for something creative, trying to make the best lineup possible, I'm gonna have Braun as my point guard.
Okay, so Joe decided to cheat right off the bat. I also have LeBron, but he'll come later at his true position, or at least the one he's usually listed as. At point guard, though, I do have a surprise, somewhat surprising, I guess, because I don't think he's the best point guard of all time. Certainly not yet. I think Magic's probably better. But I went with Steph Curry, and a lot of it is because the team I have around him. But quite honestly, I just want the greatest three-point scorer on a team of just assembling like the best possible team because, as we all know, three is more than two. I want to have Steph Curry on the team, and he is one of the greatest point guards of all time, so I don't have too much trouble with putting him on the team over Magic or somebody else.
What I think about Steph is he's probably not going to get doubled on that team, so he's going to have like I mean he's going to be running pretty free, going to be hitting a lot of threes. So on a non-cheating position, I'm going to go. It's my shooting guard. I'm going Kobe. That's my guy. He's my favorite player ever. You're not going to see a lot of. You're not going to see me making a starting five that doesn't include Kobe somehow. I think this is really interesting as because he's an ISO guard. It's going to be really interesting to see how he's going to be able to work with Braun. I see a lot of fast break potential out of this team, though. That's why I really, really like the two people I have on the wings.
Yeah. So shooting guard was probably the easiest for me just because, I think I've switched throughout like my time watching basketball, but at this point in time, I think Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever. So he's basically just a shoe-in here. I'm going to put Michael Jordan as shooting guard. Some people might have Michael Jordan at another position, but I'm not one of those people. Yeah, so I got Michael Jordan as shooting guard, best player ever.
Well, I don't know that I would say putting MJ at the 3 is that crazy. In today's league, he would be a 3. 100%. When you're 6'7", I guess you're gonna be a 3. So I have MJ at the 3. He's just one of the greatest players ever. Nobody's disputing this. I love having Kobe and MJ at the wings on the fast break. I just see so many lobs from Braun to dunks. What's nice too is if you can't get the offense going, throw it out to either Kobe or MJ. They're gonna be able to get something going on the ISO.
Yeah, at small forward, I have LeBron. He'll probably do a lot. He would probably do a lot of the ball handling on this team because he does work great as a point guard. Great passer, as we all know. And again, it's just one of those guys you have to have on the list because I said Michael Jordan's the greatest player ever. I would consider LeBron the second greatest player ever. So those are probably the two easiest picks for me. I considered putting them at different positions to kind of make the team work. But I'm cool with just having LeBron on the team. No matter what position, he's going to be doing a lot of the ball handling. So,
yeah, and then at power forward, I got the best power forward ever. I think there's a sizable gap between him and Karl Malone personally, and I got Tim Duncan. I love having Tim Duncan on this team. It's unfortunate. I unfortunately don't have a stretch 4. Tim Duncan's gonna have to play in the post. He's not even gonna really be able to be at the top of the key or anything like that. I see a lot of dribble handoffs though to Kobe, MJ, Braun. I think Duncan is a player that's gonna be able to make all the right plays. Duncan is not gonna care in this fantasy world if he only puts up like 8 points or something. He's gonna be okay just going and getting the boards, making the right plays. So I got the best power forward of all time in mine.
yeah, I would agree with that. I think Tim Duncan is the best power forward. But this is kind of where I got a little creative. I put Hakeem Olajuwon at my 4. And like I said, Tim Duncan's probably the better power forward, and Hakeem really isn't a power forward, I would guess, more of a center. But I wanted to have Hakeem on the team. First of all, I mentioned him last week in our favorite NBA players of all time. and he's also just an incredible defender. And if I wanted to switch it up from Duncan, I still did want to go with a great defender in Hakeem. And he's just another incredible scorer and an incredibly fun player to watch at the 4. So I got a little creative here and went with Hakeem.
Well, the reason that's not like that much of a cheat is because early in Hakeem's career, he played with Ralph Sampson, and Ralph Sampson played the center most of the time. So although that didn't last a super long time, Hakeem did play a lot of power forward in his first couple of years in the league. So I don't think that's too extreme of a reach. Yeah, great pick. At center, I got Shaq. I mean, I really struggle with Shaq because if somebody tells me he's the greatest center of all time, I'm not even really going to necessarily have an argument.
Yeah.
But I think it's Kareem. But just Shaq's dominance, if I'm making a starting 5, assuming all of them are in their prime Shaq to me is maybe the greatest player ever. Like, he's completely just an unstoppable force. Some of those stat lines he put up, especially in the Indiana finals where he's doing 30 and 15 a night, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody's going to be able to stop him. Steph Curry about to get laid out if he goes in the post at any moment. So I'm taking Shaq at my 5.
Yeah, I'm also taking Shaq at the 5. He can be the one guy ever that actually lives up to what Shaq demands of players, especially centers, like 35 and 12 every night, maybe 4 assists too. So yeah, and also the nice thing about having Shaq and Hakeem on the same team is Shaq doesn't have to go up against Hakeem, I guess, in this fantasy world because he struggled against him. But yeah, as I said last week too, Shaq's one of my favorite players of all time. Just absolute dominance at the position and just his style of play. I would also probably say in like an all-time ranking, Kareem's probably the better center. But I think
too.
Shaq in his prime was probably better than any center in their prime. I mean, maybe like Wilt or I don't know if Wilt really counts. I wasn't really going to put him on the list, but yeah, Shaq's at my 5 too. So
well, the really weird thing about Shaq versus Kareem is there's like 2 different versions of Shaq. There's Orlando Shaq and there's LA Shaq. And Orlando Shaq was disgusting on the fast break. He was running the floor. He was beating everybody. It's really weird because the dominance is the same, but they're 2 completely different players. And Orlando Shaq was a big part of his career. He had the glory years in LA, and then Miami, he was really, really good. But obviously there was a slight decline. D-Wade took over in the finals, and after that it was kind of just over for Shaq. So I mean, I think most people agree that prime Shaq is the best center ever, but Kareem's longevity and how he was kind of the same player the entire time, also winning MVP in his one of his first couple of years. So the reason I think my starting lineup works so well is I have Bron setting up everybody. Bron's a huge point guard. And then just 2 great wings are going to be able to be on the fast break. Duncan's going to make all the right plays. And then Shaq, I just need Shaq to be Shaq. Shaq is not going to get... We're not going to throw it down into him in the post a lot. He's going to go up and get the offensive rebound, slam it back down. That's why I think my starting lineup is going to work very well.
Yeah, one thing I really like about mine is just having Steph Curry, just the 3-point ability, having the best 3-point shooter of all time. And then got some easy picks on here. You got to have MJ. And if the debate ever were to come up, MJ is taking the last shot if we need it. Unless it's a 3. I'll give it to Curry then. LeBron, like I said, would do a lot of the ball handling, like you said too. Would probably play a lot at point guard. Hakeem would be incredible as... He wouldn't score a ton of points on this team, I wouldn't imagine, just because there's so many scorers. And he's an incredible defensive player to have down low. And then Shaq, absolutely dominant. I really wanted to include him because I do love watching Shaq play. And I just think he kind of works on almost any team just as an incredibly good scorer that no one can guard at his position. And I should specify, I'm taking Celtics Shaq. Yeah. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, one big issue on my team that I didn't take into consideration until you brought it up is I might only have 3 people left on that final time because Kobe and MJ are probably going to get in a fist fight over who's going to take the last shot. But yeah, I mean, I'd say Kobe is taking the last shot if it's a 3-pointer, a super difficult one. He's going to be able to get any shot off. You just need that nice. You need 2 points. I'm probably going to give it to MJ. Although you can give it to Bron too. There's statistics that back that up. Yeah, those are both of our starting 5s. Just like to thank you guys for tuning in to the second episode of the podcast. Starting to really get a rhythm going. And should be coming out pretty shortly.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys.